Yes, you are rocking with the best. This is Just Blaze.
This is OnCue.
And you're watching Hot New Hip Hop, all right?
.com.
People always ask me, how did you and this guy connect? And I kind of just found him on a corner one day.
Chill. Hey.
You were on a corner, like, with the sign out, like, we'll rap for food.
Yeah.
And I went to Popeyes and bought him some chicken. One of the good homies, the bald god, Alex, made the connect. I dug the music, and then when he showed me the pictures, I was like, that came out of that? All right, interesting. Pause. Interesting. So, set up a couple meetings. You know, I'm more of a personal vibe kind of guy, so it was like, the music has potential. Let's just see if he's cool. Alex actually brought him to this very room that we're sitting in now, sat and kicked it, chopped it up for a while. And I liked his vibe, so I said, all right, let's just try some records out and see what happens. You know, I like to keep things organic. You know, I think all of my biggest records from the beginning up until now have happened organically. They haven't really been a thing where it's like, actually, all my contrived records, where it's like, get him in the studio with this person and this engineer and this songwriter, and you have to have a hit record because you have all those pieces in the room. It never worked. Anytime it's just been like, yo, let's just go to the studio and have a good time, make some music and see what happens, the results have been completely different. So that's my version of how we met. His version may be different, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the ball guy, but you know, he was like, yo, I'm gonna play just your shit, and I was like confident. I was like, yo, he's gonna fuck with it. And ball guy at the time was like, I don't know, man, he's picky, he's Just Blaze. And I'm like, nah, I'm sitting in the back of my head like, yo, I know he's gonna fuck with it. He's gonna see where I want to take it. And yeah, man, Just came through the studio that I was working at the time, and yeah, it was kind of like that. Went on tour, and then we started working on music a couple months later, and that's pretty much what it was.
That was that. What attracts me to an artist? Personality, originality, obviously good songwriting, personal songwriting. You know, things
that's me, bro.
Where you can tell when that person is really putting their life into that song or their experiences into their music. Whenever I make a record, even from a production standpoint, I'm putting my life experiences into it. You wouldn't know that because I'm not verbally speaking to you. Almost everything that you've heard me do on a record is influenced or inspired by something that I grew up listening to. So the same way he's verbally putting his life experiences on a record, or a lot of the artists that I've worked with are putting their life experiences on records, so am I, just in a different way. And I speak to a whole different class of people when I do that. So like, there are times when like an aspiring producer or even an established producer or DJ or somebody who's just super music nerd will come up to me and be like, that thing that you did on that record, that's from this like 30 years ago. Like, you were listening to that, weren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I was. You know, and only we'll understand that. Only they'll know that I'm channeling my recollection of this particular song on a record that I'm doing because they study music like that. So for me, the same way I'm putting my life out there musically, I look towards people who are putting their lives out there musically. I feel like people will buy into an artist before they will buy into a song, because nowadays you don't have to buy a song. You can go to YouTube and just grab it, or you can just go anywhere and just grab it. But people tend to support you when they support you. Pretty much what it comes down to.
Good point.
There are some producers who come in and say, okay, I'm going to do everything, and you're just going to write or recite what I write, or have somebody write for you, or recite your rhyme. But it's more like, I'm giving you everything, and all you have to do is insert your...
The template.
Yeah, and you insert here. And my thing is just like, look at how many artists, and they were all great records, but look how many artists Pharrell did that for that aren't here anymore. Because it was really, Pharrell was the star. He was the artist. It wasn't the artist. You know, like, and I've also recently, I think I'm coming to the conclusion over the past like year or so that I think he might be the greatest of all time in any genre.
Yo, he probably is.
I think so.
He thinks so.
Sidebar. I think he is.
He was so fucking convinced. I think so.
No, but seriously, like, you look at how many artists he's done that for.
Yeah.
Great records, classic songs from artists you don't even remember their names, but you remember that song. You know, and my thing is in a situation like this, when I'm met Q, he had such an identifiable sound.
Thanks, bruh.
I didn't want to do a thing where it was like, all right, forget all that. Take these beats that sound like me and Jay should be doing them, and these Jay Electronica sounding beats, and just insert your rhymes there, and that's that. No, it doesn't make sense. It's like you already have a thing going for you. My job in this situation, kind of said it on the record, is like the Obi-Wan, where it's just like, fix this, fix that, add this, make this a little bit more accessible here. It's coaching and shaping a record. You know, it's like when Quincy Jones, I'm not comparing myself to him by any means, but it's like when Quincy Jones got approached to do Thriller, or when they were working on Thriller, Michael had a lot of those records done. But it was just Quincy coming in and saying, change those drums, get this person to redo the percussion, you know, let's get this guy on keys, this guy's doing all the horn arrangements, bring this songwriter to rearrange this part of the record. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what my role has been here. I guess the difference being I might make that call and then jump on the track and do it myself, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but it's more so like just kind of helping to take something that I feel already has great potential and making it greater.
Yeah, I mean, with you saying that, I'm admittedly a control freak, so it was kind of nice that, you know, you kind of just let me do my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, low-key, we're kind of like, I wouldn't say bump heads, but we're off-sync initially just trying to figure out the thing. And it's like, you know, obviously, as he said, I've been building up this sound that I've been working on for years, and it was really dope to kind of just have that total creative freedom, follow through with what I was setting out to do before me and Just linked up, and then he just made shit bigger. I keep calling it in all these interviews the Just Blaze filter. That's
right,
what
yeah,
it is.
I
You
keep
know what
hearing,
I mean?
I've
Like,
seen that. And it's like, yeah, it's like I'm
that's
just
what it is.
I'm kind of the filter. It's like, okay, you have the song at an 8.5.
It's a very expensive filter.
Yes, it is. That shit costs money, son. But yeah, let's just take it. Let's take it from an 8.5 to a 10 because it's already great. So now let's just take the things that I just in my experience as a producer, and my years as a DJ, and just knowing this business and the sound,
True.
and having the ear that I have. Take that and put that to work, as opposed to me sitting there from scratch like, make more beats. No, it's not that. It's more so like make great songs.
I told you this before, but like I rapped over, I really mean it. I rapped over Song Cry when I was
still
like
want to hear those
kid.
records.
Yo, I gotta play the records, but nah, man. Dude, I mean, now I'm kind of used to it. I've known this guy for a few years now. Now, I mean, not like I'm taking this whole experience of working with a legend like Just for granted, but I'm used to it. You know what I mean? But
it's totally taking me for granted.
yeah, nah. But you know, the first few sessions, dude. I mean, it's still crazy watching him work because he kind of works totally different from any other producer I work with. Now, that doesn't mean his process is necessarily better per se for process sake, but nah, man. I mean, it's incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up listening to this man. Like, I look up to him still. You know, so. It's crazy.
Thank you, sir. I had a weird experience with that the other night. This girl tried to tell me that she grew up listening to me, but she was like 3 years older than me.
That's weird.
So I'm like, did you just start listening to music mad late in your life?
I don't know. Like,
that's just a sidebar. You just reminded me of a conversation I had last night.
No, it makes sense. The last album I dropped, the last full length called Can't Wait, that was when my whole attitude changed, because that was the first time I really gotten any success. Now with this project being out, I kind of had a fan base for a minute for the last couple years, and it's like now my attitude is go make more records. You know what I mean? Like it's making music. It's just staying on the path. You know what I mean? So my whole attitude past this album, it hasn't really changed much. Just got to make more and better records, and that's what it is. Keep it moving, get on the road, shit like that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been out for a minute. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like weathered in a good way. So yeah.
I mean, anything that we do is going to be a joint project, because at the end of the day, any song that he does gets run through the Just Blaze filter. You know, it's like he puts something together, whether it's with CJ or Cuz or Maki or whatever, it's going to get brought to me, and I'm going to be like, all right, fix this, fix that, change this. Or I might just listen to it and say, you know what, it passes the test, and put it out as it is. But 90% of what he's going to put out has my touch on it. Pause. One way or another, regardless.
That was a good pause.
That's an excellent pause.
That was a good pause. A lot more music, new videos, like straight up. I've been in this room pretty much every other night, just working, and hopefully Angry Young Man will go to some form of retail sooner or later. And
I mean, there has been interest on my end, or not on my end, but directed towards me from people who are starting to ask questions like, yo, who's this kid you got? And I'm like, just wait a little bit longer. There's I want to see him on the road, touring, kind of just building up. He has a very established loyal fan base. I want to expand that a little bit before we go for the next step. As much work as we've done, I feel like or as much groundwork as we've done, I feel like there's a lot more groundwork to go. You know what I mean?
True.
So, and I don't want to do the whole, even though no pun intended, we were just talking about this, but I don't want to do 0 to 100. I'd rather do 0 to 50, and then 50 to 100.
I don't want to do it either. I feel you. Give the album a spin. It's free, and if you could spare an hour of your time, it's a lot of personal stuff in there, so it's a little difficult to digest on first listen. But yeah, man, Angry Young Man out now, executive produced by this guy. And yeah.
She wanted to be the first person to really speak up on the record. You know what I mean? Looking back on it, that's my whole take on it, as, myself being an artist, when I put out a song.
Man, go mode, man. Look, the definition of go mode, you could be turned up, turned down, rich, poor. It shouldn't matter. You keep going, you know what I'm saying? Don't let nothing discourage you.
Honestly, nobody's really pushing it out as far as new music. You got the more established acts doing what they have to do, but